Hi everyone and welcome to today's General Hospital recap. As always, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos or recaps. So last week's character of the week winner is, drumroll, doesn't work, Jason for saving Dante, with an honorable mention to Duke for being Anna's guardian angel. So let's get right to today's recap. At ALEXIS's place, the drama was not missing. So Julian wants Alexis to stop suspecting him. It's hurting his feelings. And he tells her that, the crisis at Crimson wasn't professional. Franco had showed up naked and Nina was all upset. And Alexis isn't buying any of it. So she brings the witness back into it, and she figured out that he killed Carlos the moment that she told him Carlos was wounded and not dead, and she saw his face. And he says that Carlos was his friend, and that's why, he reacted like he did. And she's like, no, he wasn't your friend. He was trying to send you to jail. Stop. So she asked where he was before Crimson, and he asked why. Why would he kill Carlos himself? Why would he do that? And she's like, to reduce witnesses. And it literally kills her that he used the knife that was used to kill her mother. And he says the knife is clean, and she's like, yeah, because you cleaned it. And she starts looking for proof, and by looking for proof, I mean, like, throwing his jacket or shirt, like, I don't know, she was like very frantic about it, but she does find the bloody handkerchief, and I'm like, yeah, he didn't really hide it that well. I mean, it wouldn't take a rocket scientist. So she asks him why, and he says he did everything he did because he loves her. And she asks, who is he, and she keeps backing away from him, and she literally pushes him away. So she goes to make a call. He stops her. Was she gonna call the police? Probably not. Don't know. And he brings up how she knew he ordered the hit on Duke and chose to be with him, and she's complicit. So, like, stop. So he says he did change his life for her, but his past came back to haunt him, and they both knew that could happen. And she's like, no. And I'm like, come on. Yes. So he says he did what he had to do. And she didn't want him to do any of this, but, what would be the alternative? Like, he's going to do what he wants to do to get out of prison. Like, whatever. And that she chose to defend Carlos and protect their marriage. And she says she never wanted this to happen. But I think she realized how deep she was fooling herself. So he says that it's over. What's done, it's done. So, like, just let's move on. And all the threats have been eliminated, and they can live their life together, and they can survive this. And, if they don't, then two men died for nothing. And I'm like, that's, like, I wrote manipulative, but that's not the right word. That's like the most cold-hearted thing I've heard thus far in, like, probably this year, right? So he's convinced that they can fix this. She laughs, and he goes to burn the handkerchief, and she says she's not going to let him. But is she really going to stop him? At the hospital, Dr. Finn is ordering space heaters for Roxy, and he asks Monica if, as new chief of staff, she could allow Roxy to come to the hospital, and she's like, I'll consider it. So Mr. Ellis is brought up. He did not get his doctorate, unfortunately, before he passed. And Dr. Finn says that, Mr. Ellis was stable when he left him, and Monica tells him that Obrecht has asked a peer review group to open an inquiry. So Amy Driscoll, I believe that's her name, that nurse, right, bothers Elizabeth. There's no other way to put it. And Elizabeth has to tell Jake he's not going to see Franco anymore. And Franco overhears and tells him to ask his father why. So Amy Driscoll reveals that Liz canceled the appointments. So, it's not 100% on Jason. And the nurse Driscoll is talking to someone about the Jake Doe. Oh my goodness. For 2 years we dealt with Jake Doe. I can't remember the name. Fiasco, last nurse's ball, and about Jason's parentage. And Monica tells her to quit gossiping or she's going to be backstage again at the nurse's ball. So Elizabeth tells Jake that she and Jason are entering him into an art class. He doesn't want that. He wants to see Franco. Franco's his friend, and he doesn't think this is fair. But Elizabeth tells him the conversation is over because he's already late to Dr. Oh my goodness, Renault. I'm like, I wrote it phonetically and I couldn't figure out how. So he's already late to Dr. Renault's appointment and he has to go. So he marches off by himself. This will come into play later. So Elizabeth gets on Franco's case about making the whole situation worse, and Elizabeth says he's acting like his old self, and he says he's just digging himself out of a hole, with everything that happened with Nina, and she was the closest, Elizabeth, is the closest thing he had to a friend, and he feels that Jason turned her against him, but he's going to go back to his old new self soon. So she says that he's proving Jason's point about not being emotionally stable enough to help Jake, and he tells her to stand up to Jason. And I'm like, I don't think she's like, I don't think that's the issue here. So Amy interrupts and asks about Jake, and apparently he never showed up to his appointment with Dr. Rennell. So Jake doesn't seem to have left the hospital, but Elizabeth's worried he's been taken. She called the police, and Amy is actually slightly helpful. So it's obvious that Obrecht is trying to take Dr. Finn down because he put her pet Dr. Mays in his place, and apparently the committee has decided not to investigate Mr. Ellis's death. At the Metro Court, Sunny comes to see Carly and tells her the events of the night, and Sunny's happy that his hands are clean and Carlos is dead. Carly wants Sunny to communicate better when he's leaving the house late at night, and they talk in more detail about the events of last night, and he doesn't believe Alexis about Julian being at Crimson, or if he was there, like, he could have gone there after he killed Carlos. So Sunny wants to find a way to use this against Julian, and Carly tells him to let the police handle it. Probably not the worst idea in the world. And he believes Alexis is going to drag herself through the mud for Julian. And Sunny sees the difference between him and Julian, that he would never include Carly in any of the business that he does. So kind of like the similarities between, like, the differences, like, Duke has, So Dr. Finn comes in, and Carly wants him to look over the staff list. At the J-Sam penthouse, where everything is happy, Jason still remembers everything. This is not a drill. This is not a false thing. We are good. We are set. And he tells Sam the events of the night, including the hallucinations, and he brings up more detailed memories of their past and, stuff like that. And that end scene already. Woo! So the police have issued an Amber Alert for Jake, so all local cell phones, like, I don't know, Jason and Sam's, we'll see it, and also, like, it'll be on TV. Jake is at Franco's house eating cereal. Okay, that solved that mystery really fast. Sam wants Jason to go to the hospital and get checked out. He reluctantly agrees. Dr. Finn sees a few out-of-place things on the staff list. A T. Adams hasn't worked there at the hospital since the transplant, and, like, worked a full day, even though, like, I don't know, it just their position and, what situation they were in the day of the transplant is all very suspect to him. So Sunny is at Alexis's door, and he says he can tell by Alexis's face that she figured out that Julian killed Carlos. So there's that. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I will see you tomorrow normal time, as far as I know, for more General Hospital. And if you don't already know, whenever I'm making any last minute changes to the schedule, I comment on the previous day's video so you could see updates there. If a video isn't up by 5, you can start checking that out. I will update it always by 5 because I'll know by then. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for more General Hospital. Bye. Also, I got new glasses. Hey!